to Midoriya's father is... are you subscribed yet? You should subscribe. It's free. You should also like and comment. Get the reaction up. Just go to the reaction. Go to the reaction. Hello, we're the Custodians. I'm Rhett.
I'm Gabe.
I'm Joe.
And this is our discussion video on My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 21, Revival Party. So, this is the more meat and potatoes of the discussion. So, let's kind of start from the beginning. So, Detnerat now is confirmed to be definitely a MILF thing.
A MILF corporation, yeah.
Which means that...
Well, if not, it's our headquarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they have access to... And we see this later in the episode, but they have access to all of Detnerat's support items.
Yeah, we saw that.
Direct access as
using
well.
like that what was it, a ring that blocked her attack, but also was like almost like a Bakugo gauntlet where it just like exploded in her face. But she
she made it explode. She made it explode. I assume it didn't explode naturally. We have an hour and
40 minutes.
40 minutes, or at least when they show up. They had an hour and 40 minutes till Gigantomachia wins the fight. And
I wonder. Oh, never mind. Keep going.
Well, no, you can go.
Well, no, let's finish what you were gonna say.
Well, we have an hour and 40 minutes till Gigantomachia shows up and wins the fight for them. And the Detnerat, or Redestro, has determined that they will not be using any Nomus during this fight. Due to logic.
Yeah, I love how he said there's no more than a club at this point. I'm like, a really powerful club, but sure, okay.
Yeah, they don't even know.
To see him at the local club fair, hi, we're the League of Villains.
We're the League of Villains.
Would you like to join our club?
Damn it, Joe. What are those called? Joe, what's it called? The fucking when students dress up to meet with companies and stuff. Something fair.
The career fair.
Yeah, is it like a career? Is that like the love going to a career fair?
I think villainy is the right way for you to go.
So what would you say is your biggest struggle? I killed my family.
Okay.
I ate a bird. I killed myself multiple times.
I am literally a lizard.
Can we also mention the fact how
Conference there's nothing wrong with me. I hang out with crazy people.
I love how can we also mention how Dabi fucking called out twice, or Spinner, and he was like, "Dude, you haven't fucking killed anybody. Do something. You're worthless. Come on." I was really hoping we'd get to see Spinner do something, but
speaking of
not
the
quite yet.
Opposite of worthless, Slidin Go has made an appearance.
Where the fuck did he go? He was their guide in the city, right?
Yeah, he must have, because they must not want to get rid of the league too quickly, so they were probably slide and go when the fighting starts. Stay back, don't end it too quickly.
Yeah, I just want to see him in action. Damn it!
I mean,
I want to see what he can.
Unironically, I do want to see Slide and Go in action.
It's a really useful quirk being able to slide along any surface freely.
I wonder though,
how
can
fast
he
you can
only
become
move in
on the
straight
ground?
lines?
No, because we see him whoop to the side when he bows.
And he
that's
only
a
do it
straight
on
line though.
Oh, you're talking about can he
only
curve?
Can he only do it when he's on the ground? Is another question. Can he get on walls and be parallel with walls and stuff, and ceilings, or is it only the floor?
You mean perpendicular to a wall?
Shut up, Joe.
So when he brings him here, what's this guy's name? The guy of the Hearts was the Hearts and Mind party.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That guy. We didn't get to see what he did.
No, we don't. He says that 90% of the city is
dormant liberation fighters,
mm-hmm.
and so it's almost like a front. It's a
which is interesting.
It's like, oh, they're just.
How did they get the entire city on their team?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they just like developed the city over time.
Maybe because they did say like it's not a small city,
Or it was
it's
a
not
hostile
big one either.
takeover, or it was a very, very quiet hostile takeover.
So what, like, how many people do they expect though to like be living in Deika City?
Well, like take Plymouth, Minnesota, for example, right? A decent sized, I would say a city or a large town. We have what, 40? It's either 40,000 or 70,000 people living
That's
in it.
a large jump, but yeah, we have like 70,000 people.
Yeah, I always go back and forth between the numbers, but yeah, we have like some 70,000 people that live in our city. So I don't think it's very far off for 100,000 people to be in a city.
Well, the thing that I have a problem with, one, Deika City, you can see like
The entirety
like
of
the entirety of it. You can't see the entirety of Plymouth.
Well,
B,
then let's look up the population of
and
Minneapolis.
B, they say there's 110,000 across all of Japan,
Mm-hmm.
not just
Bill, they did say that there was what did they say, 1,000 were in the city? It was like towards the very beginning when the fighting started. They were like, "Oh my God, there's like 1,000 of them."
Well, if there's 10,000 here, it explains why they start marketing their numbers differently in the future. Yeah, talking about the whole city.
Yeah, can you imagine just losing 10,000 for your forces? Like, oh, maybe we don't want to fight these people. Like, jeez.
So you said it's around when the fighting starts? I think we get the guy's name.
No, we do. Like, the Hearts and Minds part, we
Yeah,
did.
Hanabata. Hanabata. Bata equals hearts and minds guy.
The meta liberation almost
He's hearts,
reminds
she's
me
minds.
of, it's weird. I don't know why, but every time they talk about like meta abilities, I don't know why, but I like to, in my brain, I've been comparing them a lot to mutants and like how they view themselves.
They are a lot like mutants, at least in terms of how their powers function.
No, not even
Well,
that.
like-
It's like how
like
they're
the
referring
Magneto.
to
Yeah, they're like the
themselves.
Brotherhood of Mutants.
Yeah.
And it's like they're
I
not
wonder if that
referring
was the
to themselves
inspiration
as
for it.
quirks. They're not referring to their powers as quirks. They're referring to them as meta
Meta abilities, yeah.
Yeah.
Because apparently, which makes sense that they weren't, referred to as quirks to begin with. Because now that they're just a normal function of society, calling them, like meta abilities just seems kind of almost gratuitous. But these guys are like,
What's it meta, bro?
So
Yep.
they
This
must.
is the guy. This is the guy that I was looking for. You guys, if you want to go specifically to this time, 7 minutes and 22 seconds. That guy is a spray bottle.
Yeah, I know.
He
He's
is-
using
he
like the
is
trigger.
spraying
And pointing.
He's using the trigger. Just want to point that out. That's the craziest shit I've ever
Oh
seen.
my god.
And his fingers are super. I just want to point that out.
This is like the
but yeah,
cleaning
no,
crew. Look at them. We got the guy with the white pads. He's got a spray bottle too. I wonder if that's like. How does the spray
you got
bottle
a
man
cat
feel
with-
about somebody using a spray bottle?
So I'm pretty sure there's like around 1,000 people that are in this city. But I couldn't find the exact number. But it was
I find
like
it interesting though, because
Is that
we
a-
still don't know what Redestro's or Destro's powers were, right?
No, we have no idea.
And because that ice guy, like,
He
holy
can
shit,
control
he's like a
ice.
strong ice quirk.
He can.
Yeah,
control-
Yeah.
well, he said he trained a lot with.
He doesn't even go to
said,
school.
I trained this quirk for as long as I can remember.
Mm.
No,
that's
didn't he say
great.
mentioning the general or something?
I
The
think he was referring to
Grand General.
Redestro. I think.
Yeah.
It was like the one dude in the beginning. I think he said something like the Grand Commander. Lord.
Go to that
Commander.
time when he was fighting Dabi.
Oh, at the very end.
I'm not seeing them, at least in the beginning, mention like a specific number of how many people.
Okay, no, so they're fighting in Compress Goes. They seriously have 110,000.
Yeah, well, I saw that. Yeah.
I think that was.
Okay, no, I think he's talking about the fact
that
that
was
like
mentioned. They don't actually give us a
like when
number.
they're.
Like they were like, oh, they might be bluffing. That they have 110,000. Like we're
But I
seeing
see
those.
an actual army is.
Yeah, they didn't actually give us.
I
a
doubt
number
110,000
of people
actually
in this
there.
city.
Yep.
Yeah, but we can go to the end. Speaking of the end, Skeptic.
Yep.
So his, the better definition is, he can take a human-sized object, so like a desk or refrigerator, and turn it into a lookalike of any given person. And then he can freely control them, like a puppet. And then he can do this with multiple things. So
Well,
like he can take multiple desks
that means
and
the
make them look
leaders
like multiple people.
of, like, hell, they couldn't even like be there. Maybe like none.
None of
like,
them were
what's the
actually
limit
there.
on that quirk?
Yeah.
If he's making puppets out of that many people,
He made
like,
what, 6, 7 twices? Also, how did he know what he looks like?
They
I guess
have them
maybe
on
the
file.
puppet- I guess
Criminal records.
puppets can't use. At least we don't know that the puppets can use their quirks.
Yeah,
I mean, I
they
was
can
just
use
saying.
quirks.
That'd be-
That's kind of fucked up.
I mean, if they had twice on file as a puppet, then why on earth would you even need 110,000 people?
True.
I mean, I guess quirk
True.
diversity,
Mhm.
maybe. Cause
Oh, maybe because they don't want to
And
rely
then
too
it
much
looked
on
like he
one
also-
person.
It was weird though, because it also looked like he was using his laptop to like control them, which is kind of wacky. I don't know how that ties into it, or that
It's a
might just have
NAND
nothing to do-
computer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but
It's a
it reminds me of
computer.
what's his name from the Phantom Troop. So
But yeah, so that's the concrete version of his.
let's try not to
Quirk.
jump around too much. So back to the beginning. They see another kind of hero-looking guy. He's in
the
the
very beginning.
yeah, he's in the red costume.
I thought
He's
that was
up on-
just some armor. Oh yeah, no, because everybody else
Yeah, I
is
know.
dressed normally.
Yeah.
That guy's wearing like an actual like outfit.
Well, I guess it makes sense. Like, I wonder if Slidin Go... Well, Slidin Go was in the other place, too, so I don't think he's necessarily stationed here, but it was like, if you have all of, like, the local heroes under your wing, they can be like, nothing to report weird going on over here.
Yeah, he's got like a red cape,
Mm-hmm.
black outfit. He's got a gray mask.
He's got Cell's mouth on his belt.
Oh my god, he does.
It's
like...
So they have other pro heroes, which I wonder if any other pro hero we know is...
I can't
currently-
imagine they're like... I mean... I can't imagine that they have a lot of top, like... top heroes, like, under their thumb and working with them.
Probably not, but maybe some other people that we've seen. Like, what if...
Yeah.
Backdraft is one. Manual.
I mean, they
Death
did
Arms.
all of...
I refuse.
It's like if...
We can't lose
I see
another
it
triple
as-
S.
I see it as like a point buy system. They only have so many points to work with, and they put the majority of their points into getting Slidin Go.
Fair enough.
He's
fair enough.
triple A. He's triple S. So they're like, okay, we've got this one triple S hero, but then we have like all these native tier heroes working with
You gotta
us.
balance it out.
Well, no, because they, he wasn't all of their points,
Mhm.
but they didn't have enough points to get anybody else that was good. So all they could afford was native tier heroes, and so they have just a bunch of native tier heroes.
I mean, that makes sense to me. All right, so
Yeah.
so Toga runs off. They tell her, or she volunteers to do something.
Mhm.
Let's see. It's a mini boss. They're all going after Shiggy.
You go to the tower.
Yeah, let's
what
get
she
to the
said.
tower. And he's like, I'm good at
And
that
she
part.
was- yeah,
Is what she says. And so she's off on her own.
and then
um,
she gets ambushed and
Mhm, by
beat the shit out of.
Curious.
Curious.
So we have Curious and Skeptic. I wonder if all of them
Yeah.
are gonna have
Like,
Well, I guess because freaking Hanna-Barbera over
Personality.
here doesn't have, like... but, okay, so she goes there, and Curious takes an interest in her due to her, I guess, origin story,
Past.
her
yeah,
backstory.
and considering that she was all over the news.
Mhm.
But she knows a lot about her, like, her personal life at home.
Well, there must have been, like, a shit ton of interviews, like...
Well, yeah, they said there was a lot of news about this girl that, just killed a student.
Seriously, I think it was
It wasn't kill, it was seriously injured.
But still, a kid used her quirk to drink another kid's blood and then disappears.
Well, no, I don't think she... No, yeah, she cut him and then...
So she had a straw. She absolutely
Stuck a
was
straw. No, yeah, I'm saying it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna drink his blood to disappear. It was, I want to drink your blood.
Well,
But
that's not
because
what I
of
was.
Quirk.
That's not what I was saying. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it was just the way you phrased it. But yeah, no, she stuck a straw in him, drank his blood, and then dipped out.
yeah.
But
And I think that's just it's really interesting. Like the idea of where it's like, she didn't choose to be like
Mhm.
this.
Her literal genetics, pushed her in that direction.
No, what the fuck were her parents?
I mean, she could have. Isn't she a mutation?
I mean, it doesn't say she is.
I thought
I
her
don't think she
and
is.
Shigaraki were a mutation.
No, the
We've
common
only-
trend that we see with
we've only-
mutations, they have like the teal or like white hair, but they messed up Shiggy's hair, so.
I mean, her parents were probably like, oh, you can control people to a certain extent, and the other one was like, oh, you can maybe drink blood for sustenance or some shit like that.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter what her parents were. The fact is that whatever happened, it combined to give her the vampire-esque quirk.
It makes you wonder what other, biological,
Impulses.
are out there.
Like how many people are, kind of almost suffering because of their quirk, but they just have to
They
kind of
can't
go
control
along.
their urges.
And I guess that's why they do quirk counseling and stuff like that. But that's more of just like a psychological thing where it's like, hey, your quirk is cool, but don't go around thinking that you're God because of
which
it.
which was Dabi's issue. He wasn't able to get through all that quirk counseling.
We don't necessarily know
But
that.
she was in middle school.
We don't know about Dabi.
No, sorry. No, did I say Dabi?
Yeah.
I meant Shigaraki.
Okay.
I meant Shigaraki. But she obviously went through that because that's like an elementary school thing. She was in middle school when the
Shit went down.
when it happened. Yeah.
And
So-
just
I
to
wonder
clear
why
things
she
up,
did it.
it is a common misconception that we also had where it's not around the ages of 4 or 5 where quirks show up. That's around the latest age where they show up. So they could be
can-
at any time within that.
So it's anywhere between
Birth
infancy and early
4 to
childhood.
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Which is
continue.
crazy.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, Joe, you were gonna say something, and I think I know what Joe's gonna say.
Oh, I honestly forgot what I was gonna say, so you can go ahead.
Something. Okay, never mind. I think I was gonna. When it was in the flashback, it was a boy.
That
There
looks
was
a
somebody
lot
else.
like
Side up.
Midoriya.
This guy.
It looked like he was fighting, because he was kind of like that.
I think that was Midoriya in that flashback.
It looked a lot
It did
like him.
look
He had
like-
black
it
hair.
did.
He had black hair. So it wasn't Midoriya. But
I thought it was him, but I didn't want to say anything. But I'm
no,
like, no. because
it's not Midoriya. I mean, obviously,
maybe that's why she's infatuated with him, because
'Cause
she
it
looks
looks-
like the boy that she cut.
Hmm.
Which I guess would make sense.
Yeah,
Or
him,
maybe it was his,
Maybe
him seeing
his
Toga for the
character.
first time wouldn't have been, wow, who are you? It would have been, oh my god, it's the girl who fucking drank my blood in middle school. Yeah, that wasn't him.
maybe she had like a crush on him, and it kind of again those situations where it's like, oh my god, I love you so much that I want to hurt you, type of thing.
Well,
And-
we
like
get like a
Toga.
Rick and Morty love potion
Mine-
episode.
but not even that. But it's like also you have the urge, for her to drink blood. So I think just like in the combination, everything kind of just boiled over, and that's why he was like specifically the one. I don't think it was like, oh, I hate you, I'm gonna drink your blood, because it, a lot of the basis of her quirk is that she uses it on people that she is in love with and is infatuated with, like with the bird. She was like, oh my god, this bird is so beautiful and so pretty, I want to drink its blood. So maybe the boy was like a childhood crush of hers, and she was like, "Oh my God, I want to drink his blood so bad." And then it finally all just boiled over, and that's why she did it to this specific person.
Mhm.
You know.
But
that's just my theory.
And then she went on the run,
game theory,
started doing it.
Nope.
And so Curious was what, planning on like using this
I think
interview as like, I guess if their whole ideology is let people freely use their powers, then I guess Toga's story could be a way for them to gain more influence in that realm, where it's like if if society hadn't crushed her own natural instincts like this, hadn't like dampened it, if they had tried to find ways where she could
she wouldn't have resorted to where she is right now.
Yeah, like if they just didn't like hadn't they not tried to make her quote unquote normal, then
I feel like that's a slippery slope to with the well, I mean, like how they're gonna use that argument, like, yeah, see how she just like, if she wasn't allowed to be free, I'm like, okay, so she just goes off like drinking people's blood, like normal?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously Curious would control the story. They would make it probably some really nice martyr style puff piece, where it's like we failed this girl, like if we restricted who she was. No, I mean that's what I would do.
She became.
And now of course they would.
She needs help.
Yeah,
she could have been a MILF, but she joined love.
She fell in love when she could have been a MILF.
Yeah. But yeah, so she was gonna use that, and of course now Curious is Quirk. I can't imagine what this must have been like in the manga, because we've been told that the manga, and we've seen with the Shigaraki panel, that the manga was significantly more like gruesome or brutal in its depictions of stuff.
Bloody.
So I kind of want to see how badly Toga
got her ass handed to her.
She it was literally everywhere she stepped. It was explosion.
So, and then when there wasn't an explosion, you had all of the different Metal Liberation guys that were on her. Like she literally got hit
suicide on her.
From the fucking suicide guys. You had the guys on the right. Then she was like hit from the right with like some range thing. Then she got smacked by something, and then she got wrapped by her around her legs, and she was getting dragged and shit. Like she was getting pounded.
I mean, I think goes to show just how, or just the mindset of what these people are willing to do.
And another thing,
they are absolutely
like
zealot-like.
Fanatical. They are fanatical.
Not to mention that these are not like low tier. These are not like USJ villains that we saw. These are not super weak, D tier, F tier villains. These guys train not only their bodies but their minds every single day to get better. These guys are strong. They're not just your run of the mill guys.
I would still put them lower than like most pro heroes.
But
they're definitely not like the rank and file grunts that we've seen before.
I would put these guys are not like F tier villains or D tier villains. They're more like C to B tier villains, I would say. And I'm sure there's probably,
I don't know about B tier.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them.
I think there's a couple of B tier. I mean, with this ice guy that we'll see.
Ice guy seems a little different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put Ice Guy. Like, Ice Guy had dialogue. So that already makes him better than the other people.
Then Spray Bottle Boy.
Spray Bottle. Who knows? Maybe Spray Bottle can
Spray Bottle.
He can release any chemical composition from his
He is our Lord and Savior.
The breathe looking at.
He will clean the world.
Hero name: Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean.
Clean up on a whole damn team.
I think now that we can move, I think it's okay for us to move off of Toga and now.
No, it's not. It is not. We are not fucking ready. We are not fucking ready to move off Toga.
I want to talk about Shigaraki.
I do too, but something kind of fucking big happened with Toga, and we need to talk about it a little bit more.
That.
We barely talked about it, and that's of course Toga now able to use at least Uraraka's quirk.
We talked about the conditions as to how
That was also in
quirks that she would be able
last
to use.
video.
How it's only with Uraraka. We talked about with Izuku.
Now hold on.
It's not something that just manifests for everybody. It's obviously, again, coincides with the basis of I'm infatuated with this person. I love this person.
So Curious said that her quirk powered up.
Yeah, in the fight.
So now I did have in my predictions this happening with Toga, that she through growth she would be able to start using their quirks, but in my mind it would be like over the whole time of training it would just become something she would like grow to be able to use, like almost like
it was a very instant thing.
Yeah, it was like so it wasn't like that. I'm still gonna give myself the points for that, but it was it was not the way I was kind of thinking of it in my mind, where it was like, oh, cool, I've been working on it, and boom, I got it. It was holy shit.
I can
fucking make things float now. And so, like, zooming out a bit, like, so, can we put, say, like, you know how, like, in the Deadpool movie, the way they unlock mutations is they just throw a body under extreme stress until it develops like a survival adaptation?
Yeah.
I wonder, could you like just, if you put anybody with a quirk in a life or death situation like this,
and it manifests something new,
or could it grow in power? Like, do quirks have a Zenkai boost?
I don't see why not. I don't think she's a special case.
Or
I think it depends on the quirk.
Or you know how?
And I think you only can branch off so far from your quirk. Like, take Bakugo.
No, I'm not talking about like could you just develop a new quirk or something like that?
No, I'm not saying that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about like adaptations of your quirk. Like, take Bakugo's for example. His whole shtick is explosions. I don't really think you can do that much more with the concept of explosions. With Toga's, it's she can look like different people, but take on.
Or like maybe Bakugo gets the ability to blast from his feet.
Yeah, like different parts of his body.
Yeah, or like create explosions from anywhere where he has pores. I think that's significantly less of a jump than what happened with Toga.
I just think that Toga's makes a little bit more sense considering that she
becomes the person.
Visually, yeah. Maybe not biologically becomes the person, but visually becomes the person, and no one would be able to tell the difference between it, biological and not. And it's like, oh, you look like the person, you can do the same thing as the person. And so it's like, oh, the logical next step, like you said, would be that you'd be able to not only look like this person, but be able to do the things that this person can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for her, it's a very special case, and I think it's possible for other people, but I think it completely depends on the quirk.
Or is it kind of like how there are some like RPGs, like video games, where you can like level up, like you can have enough experience points to level up, but you can't actually like invest those perks until you like go and do something. Like, oh, you slept, now you can spend your perk points. So maybe she had built up enough experience points fighting Gigantomachia to level up.
Are you saying that everybody has a ability tree?
What I'm getting at is like maybe she had built up enough experience points for her quirk for this, but she still needed that like she just still needed to sleep in a bed so you could acquire your perk point. And so maybe like once you've trained enough with your power, you can kind of like you can now have those like it's not. So what I'm saying is you have to do stuff first before this intense scenario can occur, and for you to unlock something new, it's you have to train, experience, and then once you apply that stressor, then you can like
maybe
break from that plateau and keep growing.
Maybe. And
like Toga's power now is like we have to see if she can do it with other people now. Or is it just like Uraraka and
again?
Maybe
It's very specific. It's her whole character is or her whole character concept is that her quirk is based around people that she loves and adores. And
I mean, well, not
admires.
necessarily. She didn't love Cammy. She just prefers, like, she loves becoming people who she loves. But she won't just exclusively use it on those people. So the question is can she use the quirks of people that she just goes, all right, let's go? Or is it only those people that she has that personal, deep connection?
I feel
Joe,
like
what do
that
you
would
think?
be kind of a cop-out.
I mean, it seemed more of like a sound theory, plus more of a balance in her quirk, if we're talking about metas and balancing shit. That the fact that she can only really use the quirk of the people, maybe if she has gotten a certain amount of blood from them, or the fact that like her infatuation with them, her relationship to them is greater, and maybe she's seen that quirk more in action and stuff, then she can use their quirk. But like just being able to use anybody's quirk on a dime if you get their blood,
Yeah.
with no other ramifications, seems kind of like a stretch, but who knows? I mean, Shigaraki can now spread his decay without touching stuff, so
Yeah.
we'll see we'll see how this
Last
pans
thoughts
out.
on Toga before we move on. I was gonna say I don't necessarily think she's quite like broken yet. I think this is an incredible power up, but I don't know because she still we don't know how many like who she can use the quirks of. Like we have that restriction that we don't know of, and she also still has to collect the blood. So it's not like all of a sudden she can just become anybody and use their power.
Well, I get that, but like the fact that she can now use quirk.
Yeah, it's opened up like just with Uraraka. Now the league has an entirely new fucking avenue of power. I mean, sure,
And I guess
it looks like she's run out of Uraraka time, which also, so she has a time limit based on how much blood she uses. Maybe using quirks exponentially speeds up the
or also how like the damage she takes from the disguise drops it faster too.
I have the frame up of half Uraraka, half Toga,
Half Toga.
It's just awesome. I love it.
I like how they had both the voice actresses saying the same lines.
Yes, it was
That was
great.
very cool.
All right, so moving on. Next up,
Make her cocky.
excuse me, not twice. Dabi and Ice Guy.
Yeah.
Let's get.
And there's
Well,
That
next.
looked like a Todoroki type, like strength and ice quirk, but
Yeah,
it was actually like making an ice dragon.
It was
That's
something
how
that
I
I
did-
noticed in the
Ice
dialogue
make.
is Dabi. Something I noticed in the dialogue, Dabi was like ice. Like he said ice like twice. And I think he was referring to Todoroki. Or like
Which one?
Like the ice Shoto.
Huh.
Fuck you, Rhett. I don't know.
Why would
I
only be him? I
kinda
mean,
noticed.
can't Fuyumi also do ice?
Fuyumi can
I was-
do ice. I think
I was gonna-
Natsuo can do
the
ice,
mom-
and obviously, most importantly, the mom,
No,
Ray.
I was gonna say that, but I got interrupted. But that's okay. Yeah. So I don't know. It was something that I kind of noticed was that he like said it twice for some reason.
No,
I was
Dabi
like,
said
why
it.
did he do that? Yeah, that's what I meant. Shut the hell up. Don't. That doesn't even make any sense. That makes zero sense. Okay. But
I don't like
I don't-
ice.
that
It's
wasn't.
cold
That was
and gets wet. And
gets everywhere.
It melts.
There wasn't
No.
that much with the scene. He was all like, "Oh, I'm super strong," and Dabi was like, "Ice melts," and then he melts his ice, and he's like, "Nah, man, my ice is special. I
My
can
ice is
control it."
cool,
And he was
dog.
like, it's not even just like, "Oh, if you have a block of ice, you control the block of ice." It's no, I have this block of ice, and I can do whatever I want with the form of this block of ice. Like he fucking made dragons, which I thought was
yeah,
really
also
fucking cool.
he was floating up in the air on a little ice block too.
Totally
Yeah.
like Magnetoing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. The dragons also kind of looked like Nine's dragons. Which I thought it was interesting. And then Dabi was all like, and then
So he can control any ice as well as create it. So, like, I wonder if
he can
like,
create ice as well.
well, we see him do it. Like when he shoots up. I just put it on my screen right now where he.
Because we saw him gathering ice from all the different houses and homes and shit.
Well, that's when it probably that might.
No, he
help
definitely
him.
creates ice. It just shoots up from the ground. Unless
Do you mind?
Gabe, you just get that lightning too.
Yeah, like, can you keep it down over there, please? Thank you.
Unless, because it just shoots out from the ground, and we don't see any debris. But maybe they just didn't show it.
I don't think he
What if-
says he can only control.
What
ice.
if like the sewer system's frozen? Because it definitely just comes from the ground. Now whether he's just creating it on the surface or if it's like shooting up, but he is absolutely there's some.
I don't know. Is there just ice in the ground?
Well, no, but if say because it's a city with a sewer system, sewers have water. So if
Do you
they,
think that they
if they were-
froze over the sewer system specifically for him?
I mean,
Maybe
if
some nasty ass ice.
if he's kind of like one of their top soldiers where he's like, not the Supreme Commander had me training since I was a little kid. I didn't even go to school. Then they probably would plan around him. I mean, I would. Especially if you know that Dabi's on the opposing team. And apparently, Dabi's the only league member, at least that's still
Ranged.
around, with a ranged attack. Because technically, Mustard had a ranged attack.
I think you could
we
argue
get
that
the
Compress
buff
has ranged
Shiggy.
attacks.
Most likely.
I think you could argue that Toga and Compress have ranged attacks because Toga can throw knives and Compress can throw.
Well,
his
ranged
ball.
quirks. Ranged quirks. And his ball...
Did he say? Did he say quirks or attacks?
Well, no, he
thought he
says the
said
only person
attacks.
in the league with a ranged attack, so I guess fair enough.
yeah.
But I guess compress, like he could compact like a giant block of ice or a car or
Bolt.
something and
Yeah,
then
just
throw
throw it at
that.
you.
So I guess,
Mhm.
but like Dabi's got like actual range, like more than you can
His
just
quirk-
throw with your arm.
Yeah.
Okay, and now on
Can't do
to
much about it.
Shigaraki. So
boy.
Shiggy.
It's no longer solos. He can
Now,
do it on more than one person.
to be fair, that we got this from Spinner's perspective. Now,
Yes.
he said it looked like the decay spread. It could be because it did, or it could be that due to his significantly like more active training than Spinner in the last few months, he's just gotten so much faster that he didn't actually see Shigaraki touch the other people.
I think the whole point of the thing was to say that everybody here we've been seeing so far has been getting a little bit of a power up.
Yeah,
And
I
that
would.
this-
I don't.
And it
think
would
it's that.
coincide what we've seen in the intro, or what we're figuring out that Shiggy's can
And-
do some massive destructive decaying power and
What we saw all the
spread
way
it.
back when we first got introduced to the concept of Deika City, which, let me tell you, it's so good to be here. It's so good to be here. It's like I planned a
been
vacation
waiting-
for like 6 months ago, and,
And
I'm
I
finally on the
can't
plane.
wait to see it in absolute rubble.
Yeah, it's like we finally landed, and we're getting off the plane. Like,
It's like starting it. Those books, like, when it like starts in the middle or starts at the end, and
In
like
medias
we
res.
finally. God, how many weeks ago was that when we
It's
got
been
that thing?
Months. It's months, man. It's been months. It was like 2 months ago.
yeah.
It was
Fucking
long as
hell.
ever. Another thing. Shigaraki's kind of starting to lose it a bit.
Well, he's so fucking
Well,
tired.
he's delirious
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
sleep.
And he like threw up and everything.
Did we see him throw up?
Yeah, he threw up.
Yeah, well. Oh,
I like how he's like,
decayed those guys.
my
Before he
body's
looks at
my
Spinner.
body's glitchy right now.
Mhm. Everything's
Like,
slowed
you
down.
know, like how he describes Gigantomachia, he's just got a lot of HP.
Mhm.
Like,
But-
I wonder what was the purpose of, like, when Horikoshi was writing, like, Shiggy, like, why he made him, like, he used a lot of this, like, game lingo.
I think
It's
it was
kinda
to make
funny.
him seem younger, like he is
Like a
kind of
teenager.
a child.
Well,
Mhm.
we never see him play video games.
We don't. Can you imagine playing a
I
video games but
imagine
not being able to touch the controller
controller.
completely?
VR, dude.
Ah, there we go. Well,
VR.
I guess if it's freehand stuff, I'll for one could probably hook him up with some badass shit. I guess.
For sure.
Here you go, the Xbox 720. It's finally here. Thanks, all for one.
Jesus.
Tomura, I have acquired the president of Nintendo. Kurogiri, thank you.
Where's my Switch?
Make Super Smash Brothers Brawl 2 now.
Where's the
I
Switch,
bet,
bro?
I bet Johnny Chan can do it.
Freak Johnny Chan could probably do it. So he has a flashback or a memory of something, and it
was like a young girl with black hair. Which I
but
think
also
it's safe to assume
he saw a picture of Nana. He has a picture of Nana.
Yeah.
And he was confused about it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that makes sense because he doesn't understand his memories and he doesn't have like.
I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder if All For One just like pitted this on him, and like if he had some sort of memory kind of racing Quirk to take him in or something, and like he did this on purpose. Like, because there's got to be something more. Like the fact that like he doesn't have those memories. To make sure that
any memories, and then he convicts him.
That.
I mean, it could just be because he blocked it out due to trauma. Like if he freaking 86'd his family.
But like we need to know the why. Why did he 86 his family? What triggered that?
Now it might not have been intentional.
He wasn't exactly unstable like Toga was. He seemed normal.
Now,
if anything, it was just an accident with his quirk.
So
but
in
at
Vigilantes,
that time, it didn't.
In Vigilantes, our protagonist, his quirk is that whenever he makes at least 3 points of contact with the ground, he can slide around. He can glide and stuff. Like no friction, and he can change his trajectory. What he finds out is that he can actually kind of fly, because if he makes 3 points of contact with the air, he can slide around it.
Why the fuck does that work?
He just has to be touching the air. Like, you're doing it right now. And the thing is, when he was a baby...
How do you only make 3 points of contact with the air, though?
At least, not you. If you put all 4 feet on the ground, you can't slide anymore. You have to put at least 3 feet, or like three pieces, like 3 points of contact. It could be your head, and your hand, and your foot. If you put your whole body on the ground,
what do you just need? But you just need like 3 fingers on to do it.
Maybe. But at any rate,
you fly like this then? How does it?
At any rate, the thing is, he didn't realize he could do this until later in life, but he did it as a baby, and his mother, because he started to almost float out the window, and his mother basically almost beat him, scared half to death, no, get down, stuff like that, and he just kind of pushed it out of his memory, and he, ever since then he wasn't able to do it. So, what if Shiggy, as a kid, when his quirk manifested, what if he always had the his decay would spread,
so you're saying it was a suppressed thing?
Yeah.
His parents were like, "Oh my god, this is an issue," or schooling was like, "Oh my god, this is an
issue."
No.
I'm talking about his quirk manifests. His quirk manifests. Mm-hmm. He touches something, and boom, his entire family's dead.
Yeah, that's what I meant by it was an accident.
But I'm not talking about the family or the school's no, this is issue. He's immediately on his own.
From the get-go.
From
but they saved their hands.
This is true.
Yeah.
And maybe because it wasn't developed that much at that point, that it just, made them mummified, essentially.
Now when Ujiko came in, he was rolling a big pile. It wasn't just the hands necessarily.
I don't think the hands on him, they're made with their hands made from the ashes of his dead family. Because I don't think that, their skin is teal and stuff, and I don't think his skin's not that. So yeah, what if Shigaraki always had this ability, and now that he's kind of delirious on the edge of things, and again maybe he has enough XP, what if he starts to kind of unlock these memories, and he realizes that he can go so much further.
And make him, instead of having to touch it, he just makes it a decay zone.
Yeah,
He concentrates.
It becomes, instead of a cast by making contact with target, it's cast by
because I guess that would kind of work with what we see in the opener, where he's just got his hands up and he's doing that, and that's the ground bursting up everywhere.
Or like
So,
what
like,
we
if he
saw
could
when we
just-
first saw Deika City. You know,
Yeah, like it's like a decay burst. Like it just, or if he points in a specific area, it's like a giant, which makes him that much deadlier.
Yep.
AOE
everywhere.
and long range, just decay attacks. Just
we would have the only kind of saving grace is that I mean he might be able to, but I don't think he can make his decay discriminate against friend or foe.
Friend and that, yeah.
So at the very least, you know, he may have to like
okay, then this orbital drop Shiggy into a bunch of
Shiggy.
enemies.
yeah, like so
Exactly.
long as like because I think Shiggy does genuinely care about the members of the league and what they want.
Mhm.
So I
He
doubt
does. I mean, because he never really had the family besides, you know, the family that he kind of killed. So I guess he cares about this one.
yeah.
I forgot All for One, and All for One was, I don't want to say a father figure because he's not a good dad, but he was like,
Well, as a
Yeah, I'm
father
here
figure,
for
doesn't
you.
have to be.
I'm here for you, son, and I'm also going to use you to be the next All for One.
All right, and so anybody have anything more to say on Shigaraki? All right, then last up on the docket,
Twice.
So
He's gonna
Twice,
split next episode.
which I mean,
He's gonna split.
it makes sense why he did what he did. You know, he cares desperately about the other league members, and so when Toga
Mostly
was
Toga.
missing, he was like,
He
"Well, shit, I
freaked
gotta
out.
go find her."
Mhm.
So he went. He did. He found her all curled up, you know, the roadkill position, inside that shed.
Fucking Family Guy position.
But then, so Skeptic, who obviously with you know, Feel Good Inc.'s satellites would probably be able to keep like a you know,
Map on
aerial
where everybody
overview of what's everything that's happening. He sends, and this fucking fucker, he could have sent anybody,
Fuckery here.
but he made them all look
Like him.
like Ubai Gawara.
So I'm trying to think because we see in the
Intro,
like,
yeah.
Twice does eventually copy himself.
Well, I guess.
So
What if it's Twice
is
standing in
the
front of
guy-
these guys? Like, what if, like, because
Like he can't. Well, no, because he can't do anything about these guys. Because these guys
I'm saying just from that opening shot.
Oh, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah, it might have been like a trick. But that is really fucked up. But who knows? Maybe I don't understand why that would make him split though.
In fact, if anything, I would say that this right here would be more damaging to that than not.
Yeah, it would just remind him of it
Mhm.
and be like. But I mean, he did when he was with Toga. He was like, "Oh my God, is she like he was like arguing with himself, like go and kill them. But I gotta save her. Is she breathing? She's dead. Oh my God. Oh, I know she's alive. Why is she here? Where is everybody? Like he was like all over the place. And who knows? Maybe it'll be like an anger thing, because he was like, I'm gonna kill them. But I don't feel like anger is gonna be enough of a catalyst to make him want to copy himself again.
Unless, because the requirements for a clone disappearing is for them to take enough damage and then they just kind of melt away. So if these guys start to just, you know, gang up on Twice and, you know, like just start to beat the absolute fuck out of him, you know, maybe he'll be like, oh
Twice
shit.
gets beats up by IKEA furniture.
Like fucking the scene from Beauty and the Beast. No, but like that, like if, because we have, in my opinion, like the two main requirements for Twice to, you know, start to copy himself. You have a dear friend in the League of Villains, you know, in danger, and the possibility of him taking serious damage. Now, you know, when I brought this up, I was like, no, because like, what if Bakugo goes too rough with him, you know, breaks his leg or his arm or something with, you know, an explosion or a hit, and he's like, oh shit, I'm not melting. Like,
I'm not a clone.
I'm not a clone. I'm real. Like, now that it might be with like Todoroki in the sports festival, where Todoroki in the sports festival, you know, he in the heat of the moment, you know, in this discussion, he was coaxed and like willing to use his fire, but then after that, he was like, hey, I don't necessarily know what that was. I really need to figure this out. I'm not just going to start using this more often. I have to kind of find me more first. So what, maybe he might clone himself in this instance, but after that he's like, no, I can't risk that again.
I think that it's even more severe than that. I think that even if he does realize that he isn't a clone, I don't know if he would necessarily even still want to do it. Like, yeah, he would have the League of Villains around to be able to, like, kind of like control it and like mediate it. But like, I think there's always going to be that worry of, I don't know if I can go through that again. Having more than one of me in the world, and potentially going through that whole situation again, where I watched myself kill myself 20 times over in front of me, and how it broke my brain. I don't think he would, even if, he is, say, getting the shit beat out of in the next episode and realizes, oh my god, I'm not a clone. I think there's a chance that he would clone himself, but I think it's got to be a lot. I think if anything, they would be all like, they'd be beating the shit out of him, and he's like, oh my god, I'm not a clone. I don't want to clone myself though. And then they like turn over onto Toga, because she can't do anything right now. And like they're about to hound on her, and he's like, no, I won't let you. And then he clones himself. It's like, like 6 of him, and they start to fight and stuff.
Yeah. That's it.
Like, next episode though.
Yeah, it would need the damage, and then it would need the motivation. I think Toga's the perfect motivation for him. But anything else you guys want to bring up?
No.
I'm fucking starving, and
all right.
I need to eat.
All right. Well, then I think we're gonna end it for the discussion.
It's also really hot in here.
We're gonna end it for the discussion. So thank you so much for watching. We've been the Custodians. I'm Rhett.
I'm Gabe.
I'm Joe.
Please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on the social medias, and have a good one. Plus Ultra.